everybody, what's happening? This is L.A. Williams, the blind phone master and one of the creators of the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast. Also vice president with Dealer Synergy. I hate saying my name. Like, Sean likes saying all that stuff. It takes too daggone long. Y'all know who I am. Anyway, we are live here in Belize at our 2,000-person call center. Downstairs, just getting ready to rock and roll. We're getting ready to take y'all upstairs for a behind-the-scenes look at what happens in a call center. And I got some questions that I'm going to answer. I know a lot of times, people got a lot of questions about, okay, what happens in Belize? What's going on with the call center, the outsourced BDC that Dealer Synergy is running. And so I want to make sure everybody gets a little bit of an exclusive, right? A little bit of an exclusive of what's going on. So I know inside the Millionaire Car Salesman Facebook group, there's been a lot of questions that folks have asked us. And during calls, like onboarding calls, people have questions and they want to know this and they want to know that. We're going to make sure we address all of these. Just so y'all know, let me say what's up. Let me give a shout out to my man Ernesto. Ernesto, where you at, homie? Let me get my man Ernesto in the building, man, because he's the one who takes us around, like whatever, anywhere I need to go somewhere, back in the hotel and everything. We get my man Ernesto. Say what's up, Ernesto. See if they can hear you. Yeah, so I'm pumped up, fired up, super excited. We got a bunch of other support staff who are around here somewhere. We got Christy's, she's not in the building, but she's around here somewhere. Kalicia's around here somewhere. We just got a bunch of support staff that really helps us to keep this call center running tip-top condition. So when we come back from a quick break, I am going to be, like I said, answering some questions. And if you have specific questions about the call center and you want to get them inside your store, just send me a text message, y'all. Y'all know my number, 267-551-6279. Let's go to break, and I will be right back on the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast.
This episode is brought to you by Podium. Here's a question. How much would your business change if you had one more employee who worked 24/7 to turn every lead, including the ones that come in after hours, into test drives, sales, and more money for your dealership? Meet Jerry, Podium's new AI BDC. Jerry is a lead conversion powerhouse designed to respond instantly to every incoming lead to answer questions accurately, keep leads warm, and schedule test drives, all without direct human supervision. And the best part? With a seamless handoff to staff on the sales floor, customers will never know they were interacting with an AI to begin with. See how Podium's AI BDC can help you sell more cars by visiting podium.com/MCS. That's podium.com/MCS, or click on the link in the show notes below. Introducing Dealer Synergy's brand new 55,000 square foot outsourced BDC. Over 2,000 highly skilled agents are not just making and taking calls, they're transforming customer engagements. Our agents are specially trained by Dealer Synergy, a name trusted in automotive sales training for over 20 years. With access to decades of proven methods, they're equipped with the skills and confidence to handle every customer interaction. Combining Dealer Synergy's advanced training with the cost efficiency of a Belize-based team, our BDC helps you grow your business and maximize every opportunity. The native language in Belize is English, so no customer will be affected by agitating language barriers. Through Dealer Synergy's industry-leading training, these agents are primed to deliver results that boost your dealership's bottom line. Our goal: keep your showroom full, your customers engaged, and your reputation shining. Dealer Synergy's BDC is your partner in elevating customer satisfaction and bringing in a steady stream of ready-to-buy visitors. Contact Dealer Synergy to get more information to sign up today.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so I did say I was going to have some answers to some questions, but also this is for BDC reps who I know you probably have some questions and different things. I'm going to be answering those. So one of the questions that people want to know is, why do dealerships use places like call centers, like places in Belize and all that kind of stuff, and not at their dealership? Well, for a lot of reasons. Number one, when you think about it, the cost effectiveness, right? To be real with you, like in California alone, I think the minimum wage is like $20,000 an hour or something like that. No, I'm being dramatic. No, but it's definitely $20 to $24 an hour. And that those numbers are getting a little too ridiculous, for a call center. And so I'm just naming California by itself, but it's really all over the place, right? Every state, the minimum wage is extremely high. And so that's getting to a place where it's no longer productive to run a call center. It's going to be challenging if we're going to keep having to pay these hourly rates on top of incentive pay for appointments and shows and sales and all of that different kind of stuff. In addition to that, the skill level is really not that different, right? I mean, I can train someone in Canada. I can train someone in Washington, D.C., in Washington State. I can train someone in Belize, in the Philippines. It really doesn't matter if someone has the desire, right, to win. They want to get better. Then all they got to do is just get trained by someone like myself or any of our trainers around here, and our phone trainers, and they're going to be at the top of their game. So the reason why you want to do it is you get the same high quality rep for less money. Like it just totally makes sense. So that's one of the reasons. So we're actually walking into the call center right now. We're walking onto this is the floor. This is where everybody is. So before I start with the introductions, people want to know, how does a call center with 2,000 reps, how does that contribute to dealership success? Well, if you think about it, right, it's a lot of you don't have a room kind of like this. And Jenna, if you could show it to them real quick, like, and obviously all 2,000 aren't here in this room now. Just this is where we're kind of hanging out for the day. You don't have a room like this where if you see all of the cubicles, all of the phones, all of the computers, all that different kind of stuff. I've literally dealt with dealerships that are like, oh, we have to build a room for 4 people. Like, oh my gosh, like that's expense enough as it is, right? And so what we got to do is, since the room is already built, we already got the soundproofing, we got the, the security, we already got all of the key things that you're going to need in order to have success as a dealership, right? All this stuff is already in place. So again, we got the phones, right? So when we got all these people making these phone calls, it's going to allow you to be much more profitable. On top of that, you don't have to worry about the management staff. We got management staff around here. I told you before, we got, support staff. There's all types of people that are here helping your dealership succeed. So if you want to know how the infrastructure is in place, that's the key thing. I guess what I want people to really understand. As long as you understand the infrastructure is in place, so you don't have to worry about that portion of it, then I think you'll kind of get how a call center like this would help your dealership be much, much more profitable. So the question is, are all our call center reps as effective as in-house dealership reps, right? And personally, I believe so, if not more effective, right? I want to kind of just take a stroll down the aisle here, and you'll see, I mean, people are just making phone calls. A lot of times whenever you're running a BDC, right, people are up out their chairs and not really paying attention. They want to do everything other than make phone calls, right? And our team here, man, they stay focused, right? That's one of the cool things I love about this team is they stay extremely focused and they're dialing, right? And the whole thing is they also pay so much attention in training. They appreciate the opportunity that is presented to them. I think sometimes in America, right, we get people that's just a little arrogant. They think they know every doggone thing, right? That's not the case, right? What happens is you must be trained. And I think that's one of the cool things about some of my teammates here. Matter of fact, I got Janito right here. Right, what's going on, Janito? Let me see what's going on. Come. I need you to come over here. Make sure you get real close. This is my dog right here, right? So, man, listen. When it comes to making appointments, first of all, over this past week, what's today? Thursday. So I know Monday. I know you set 3 appointments. Tuesday, you set 3 appointments. How many was that yesterday?
It was 1 and 2 TOs.
Okay, so 1 and 2 TOs, which end up turning into 3 appointments, right? So I mean, he's constantly setting appointments, and you know how Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are. They're typically slower days, right? Today he probably gonna hit a good 5. Tomorrow he might do another 5 or 6, right? And so how does something like that happen? I want you to kind of just. I know the dealer synergies process is not super duper top secret, but let's say if you were giving me a call, right? I'm the next lead, right? What would something like that sound like? Just hit me with the ring.
Ring.
Hello.
Yes, hi. Am I speaking with LA?
Yeah, who's this?
Yeah, my name is John, giving you a call on behalf of Fort Sayers of Pekin. Did I catch you at a good time?
Yeah, I got a sec. What's going on?
Great. I'm calling in regards to your internet purchase request for our 2025 RAV4.
Oh, yeah. My wife was looking at one of those.
Awesome. And what features did you like about that vehicle?
Well, we were definitely looking for something with Apple CarPlay. And then she always talks about the heated steering wheel because we get cold up here in Illinois.
Yeah, I get you. I totally understand. All right, that's great. And I have your first color choice here as white. Is that correct?
Yeah, she always drives white cars.
Awesome. That's a great color choice. And what's your second color choice?
Probably keep it simple, just a black one.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I got great news for you, LA. That vehicle is definitely available. Quick question: have you ever purchased a vehicle online before?
No, I have. All right, boom. So look, we ain't trying to get the whole dog thing, which I know you killing it, right? He would have set the appointment. Like he don't play no games when it comes to that. And so again, ask your rep right on the spot. I basically just asked this man to stand up and go through the first 5 steps of our process. If you ask your rep to go through the first 5 steps of your process, will they stand up and do it just like how he just did it? I don't know. So that's what I would. That's why I'm saying that our reps are just as, if not more, effective than reps that are inside the dealership. Thanks a lot, Joe. Appreciate you, man. So, ladies and gentlemen, what can you learn from how these reps sell on the phone? Well, first of all, something that I thoroughly, I mean, I'm talking about, you talking about practicing, something we constantly practice is our tonality, right? Making sure that we sound good all the time. Every time a customer tells you they bought elsewhere, you say, wow, that's amazing. I'm super excited, right? People got to hear your emotion in your voice, right? So we make sure we talk about that. Even literally when, let's say, you hit you with the ring, hello, may I speak with Griffin, right? Like just having that welcoming tone, that type of stuff is extremely important. See, a lot of times when I'm working with some of my American reps, let's just be real, sometimes they answer the phone like they got a daggum attitude. I remember one time I had to call this girl. I said, excuse, if you ever answer my dealership phone like that again, I promise you won't have a job. I had to let her know, right? Now, I know I was just a trainer, but come on, that's crazy, right? As a matter of fact, y'all should check out, you know how many times that I've been on TikTok, right? You can check out, I got these little TikTok clips. I'm calling up dealerships, people answering the phone, saying all kind of crazy stuff, talking about politics and all that.
Let's just see what happens, because I think it's going to be a disaster. Drones all over the place that nobody knows what it is. Come on, they know what it is. Even Obama led to it. His Obama Foundation.
Man, it's ridiculous, right? And so again, the team here is consistent, right? And when they're not, I hold them accountable, right? So I had just yesterday, I was working with a rep, and she was dealing with a gentleman who was, giving her a little bit of an attitude, right? So she was giving him a little bit of attitude. Well, I don't know, but I told her, I said, hey, we can't do that, right? We got to make sure that we stay positive. You can never get mad at your money, and so that's a tip that everyone can benefit from. For me, if somebody gets upset with me or something like that on the phone, they give me a little bit of a hard time, I'm not going to get mad at them. It's kind of like if you're dealing with a 2-year-old and you get upset because the 2-year-old's running around. That's what they're supposed to do. You as the adult have to make sure that you know how to handle the kids, right? And so it's the same situation. I always say customers are like 5th graders. I'm not saying that to be disrespectful. I'm saying that because this is not what they do every day, right? They work their job and live their life and raise their kids and all that kind of stuff every day. We make phone calls every day. We sell cars every day. People don't buy them every day. We sell them every day. So what we got to do is we got to make sure we have our minds right. We got to have our systems right. We got to have our practicing right. We got to have our scripts right. All of the stuff that we got to have, we got to make sure that we got our stuff straight. And then they just kind of fall into alignment with what we're talking about. So when you talk about how they sell, all they do is they just have a lot of confidence and they say the things that we teach them to say. And when they run into a challenge, they TO. I think that's one of the things that doesn't happen enough at dealerships. And it could be for multiple different reasons. It could be for the reason that the reps don't want to TO for whatever crazy reason. And sometimes the managers don't want to take the TOs. Maybe they can't handle it. Maybe they're just lazy. I don't know what the situation is, but TOing is one of the biggest strategies of things that we do. Even if I'm home in Philadelphia, New Jersey, or something like that, if they have a problem, they send it right to my cell phone. They go, hey, LA, I'm talking to this customer. Can you put them on the phone with you? Yes. And they ring my phone and I go, hello, is this Jenna?
Yeah, this is Jenna.
Hey, Jenna, this is LA Williams. I heard you were having a conversation with Jonathan, and he said, whatever, and I just had the conversation, right? And so it's not really a challenge. I think so many times we let geography cause us challenges that it shouldn't never really show. I mean, we're living in an age where I'm on a wireless headset shooting a podcast on an iPad all the way in Belize, and you're watching it wherever you are in America or the Philippines, wherever you might be at, right? I mean, that kind of geography just don't even matter no more, man. I think it's the most amazing thing. So a lot of people want to know what happens when a call comes into the dealership and it gets routed here to our call center. Well, it sounds just like this. If somebody brings the phone, I'm like, Thank you for calling your dealership, ABC Motors. This is LA speaking. Are you calling about one of our specials? Oh, no, I was calling about one of the cars I saw on your internet. I was calling about a car I saw on the internet. Okay, cool. Well, which vehicle were you calling about? Oh, I was calling about this such and such car, 2023 F-150. All right, cool. Well, let me go ahead and pull that information up. And while I do, who do I have the pleasure of speaking with? Oh, this is Ron. Oh, hey, Ron. Do me a favor. Spell your last name for me. Johnson. All right. Hey, Johnson, spell that for me. Johnsson. All right, great. And what's a good number to reach you in case we need to? Well, it's 215-225-1234, right? Oh, okay. All right. And this is a work, home, a cell number? Oh, it's my cell phone number, right? Okay, awesome. So I'm still pulling the vehicle up. What about this vehicle made you give me a call today? I'm just wondering. So again, I'm not going to go through our whole entire process, but the question is, what happens is that happens, right? It sounds just like it should sound at your dealership. The challenge is when we call your dealership, you already seen the TikTok videos, you know what actually happens, right? And so that's a huge challenge. We got to make sure that what happens at the dealership, what happens here has to sound better than what happens at the dealership. Now, let's say if my rep runs into trouble, right? How do they handle that? Well, they'll either send it to me, or if it's a dealership challenge, they send it to the dealership. And they'll reach out and dial, let's say they'll dial extension 439. Hey, Ernesto, I'm actually talking to Ron Johnson, right? And he has a question about this, or he wants to come in, but he's looking for this. And I set the appointment for this time, but he still had a question about this. Is there any way I can have him talk to you? Sure. And then they patch them through, right? Just transfer the customer right on in. If there's not a challenge, again, we go ahead and set the appointment, and we just drop in a message. We say, hey, we got the appointment for this day, this time, this customer. Here's all the information you need to know. And then, the person at the dealership will shoot a video or go through their confirmation process the way that they ought to. So, calls come into the call center and it's not at the dealership. Well, it's just like having a different extension. So again, back in the day, before pre-pandemic, this might have been 10 plus years ago, I would set up extensions to my cell phone at a lot of my clients. Why? Because when customers had problems and they needed some assistance, and let's say the manager wasn't there, well, then they would just TO me right in, right? And so that's all this is. And I don't want to make it. I know that people have questions. I know people have. They're wondering about things, and I know for me it's so simple, right? And so I don't want to sit here and make somebody feel like, oh, it's so simple. Why are you not thinking right? Like, I don't want to make people feel that way. However, it truly is very, very simple. It's like having an additional extension set up at your dealership, except it comes here to the call center in Belize. All right, so a lot of times people ask us, they say, how are these reps in Belize, how are they trained to sell to the U.S. market, right? And I don't even really want to answer the question. I have standing with me here the one and only Miss Jenna Blankenbiller. And so I'm going to have her, let me take the headset off real quick. I'm going to have her answer the question. You guys want to get some value from her.
Hey, thanks, LA. So a lot of what we do with the reps is we make sure their English is very clear when they are talking to a customer, because we all get those phone calls. We don't want to hear, a real strong accent and stuff like that. But what we're all going to do on top of that is we're going to teach them about the dealership, because that's the difference. Having them learn your dealership, why someone should buy from you, why, customers should get extra perks after they purchase a vehicle from you. Things like that is going to help build value when these reps are talking to your customers over the phone. So any additional resources that we can get from the dealership's website, the dealerships themselves, we've had some managers even do weekly meetings from us, hands-on training with the reps to help build their knowledge, because that's really the difference. A lot of people just hire BDC and put them right on a BDC, and they don't give them any additional training outside of the phone and the CRM. We're trying to do that with product knowledge and learning about your dealership inside and out, chain of command, service, anything that's going to help engage these customers with building value when talking to them over the phone is what we're teaching them, and that's what makes it so different.
So Jenna, real quick, talk about because I know you were talking about just empathy and just understanding when people run into stuff and not being so harsh with them and things like that. Talk about how that's super important, especially dealing with Americans.
Absolutely, because especially when it comes to a lot of the customers who, maybe they're struggling through a rough patch or something like that, you do have to empathize. Someone can't call and say, I just filed bankruptcy, and you're like, oh, okay, so sorry, too bad, I can't help you. They're getting that from other dealers. There's other dealers out there that are treating people with bad credit poorly, and you can't do that. So we teach them to be compassionate. We will do role plays with them to walk them through those scenarios so they're able to gather all the information, hear the customer out, but not cut them off, because that's the bad experience they're getting from other customers. And we do not want to have that happen to our dealers. Every customer is a buyer. And if we can't help them, we're going to be sympathetic, understanding, and explain that through our process.
Mic drop. Give me. Killing that show. Let me talk to the people, buddy, because you absolutely killing. She is absolutely rocking it, man. Listen, you need some more Jenna, man. You need to just text me and get a daggone training session directly with her. She can tell you about all the kind of stuff that you need to be doing at your dealership. So a lot of times, my listeners, they want to know, what are some of the biggest objections? I'm standing here with Star Lachey. Star, what are some of the biggest objections that you hear, like when you're calling up to customers and things like that? What do they say to you?
I'm not interested anymore.
Oh, they say, I'm not interested. Okay. So let's kind of role play what would happen. I'll be your customer and I'll tell you I'm not interested. And let's see if you know what to say. Hit me with a ring.
Ring.
Hello.
Hi, may I speak with LA?
This is LA. Who's this?
This is Star from McGavick Nissan of Amarillo in the department. Did I catch you at a good time?
Yeah, I got a quick second. What's up?
Well, I was calling in regards to the internet purchase request you made for a 2025 Nissan Rogue. Is that correct?
Yeah, but we're not interested anymore. So.
Well, what changed?
Oh, well, it's just we're just not looking. We don't know if we want to buy right away. We're still in the market, but it's just going to be some time before we buy.
Congratulations, then. Your research led to me. Sometimes information on the internet can be misleading, and I'm sure you will get nothing but good information from our dealership. So tell me about the vehicle you were researching, and I'll help you find it.
Okay, yeah. So we're looking for and so that's all. It's real simple. Now you're in a conversation with a prospect. So little things like that. But I bet you, how many times if you talk to the reps at your dealership and you tell them you're not interested, what are they going to say? All right, are they going to know how to handle that situation? Oh no. So ladies and gentlemen, one of the things people ask the question, they say, what's up with, if I have a call center that's outside of the USA, what are some of the challenges that come up with it? And I'll tell y'all, one of the things I think y'all think is a challenge is that the English isn't so proper, right? But if you think about it, if you send me to the UK or something like that, they will be like, oh my Lord, his English is terrible. Does he hear that? That's even more horrible, right? I actually think some of them have better language than what you and I make. As a matter of fact, I'm actually sitting here with Chantel. Chantel, I think you probably can speak better English than I do, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, she be over here getting on me about your word usage and stuff like that. So how did you learn to speak? Matter of fact, here's what I want you to do. Because I know you make phone calls all day and all night long, right? And you probably leave a voicemail or something like that. Can you give folks just a sample voicemail or something you might say?
Yeah, I will say, hello, this is Chantal giving you a call from ABC Motors. Just calling regarding your internet purchase request, if you're willing to do a trade-in for your current vehicle, etc.
Okay, yeah, that's how I just to give you a call back and all that good stuff. Yeah, again, like I said, to me, I'd rather listen to her speak than me speak any day. Let me just tell y'all, right? So if you had that concern, hopefully she's wiped it away. And listen, she's not the only one. I could have picked anybody from this entire circle, and people just have a beautiful way of speaking. I like when he said, would you kindly return my phone call? I love when she say that. It's just some really cool things that I notice as I'm listening to them make phone calls and leave voicemails. Renee is absolutely phenomenal. Claudia puts you in check. She don't mess around, right? You gonna call her back. She don't play, right? So there's just all types of things, and again, that's a misconception, and I hope as I just kind of broke it down, again, my speech is probably more broken than their speech, and y'all listen to me talk on this podcast every daggone week. So people ask the question, they say, what does the future of BDCs look like in the automotive industry? Well, I'm so glad you asked that question, because I need to address what's been happening in the past. All for a long time, we've been having people, oh, I gotta build a BDC, I gotta, put it in some little office in my showroom, or I got people spread out all over the place, nothing cohesive, none of that kind of stuff, right? Even places that do it somewhat okay, they don't have the management capacity to really run a call center. And so what I believe the future of BDC in the automotive industry looks like is similar to an AT&T, similar to a T-Mobile, similar to like I know a lot of times folks either work from home or there's a call center environment where you really have competition, you really got things going on, a sales environment, but it's specifically designed for phone calls. I think so many times we have a lot of sales people, we got sales meetings, we don't include the BDC in, all right? We need to have a BDC meeting. These folks, listen, if their job is to sell appointments, then we gotta design a curriculum, we gotta design an environment that's conducive to making sales. And when I say sales, I mean appointment sales. So that's what a call center does. That's what having a whether you call it outsourced, whether you have a outmanaged, right? You got a folks like us, right? That's exactly what we do. And so regardless of where you are in the business, regardless of where you are in the country, you don't have to worry about people, oh, I gotta go meet the customer. Why? Because they're off site, right? And so people spend they waste, I'll say, a lot of time talking about, oh, I gotta go meet the customer, I gotta go this, I gotta go do that. No, you need to sit your behind down and make some phone calls, right? But again, that's what happens in a outsourced call center, a real life environment that's designed to help people make a bunch of phone calls, sell a bunch of appointments that actually show up so you can make a bunch of money. And so people want to know, they say, what does running a global operation, what does that teach us about sales? Well, I'll tell you, number one, it teaches us that sales does not belong in a little box, right? We've been saying for years that the internet is the new showroom, right? Your little showroom, you might got a little pretty showroom, you might got an ugly showroom, I don't know. But here's the real deal is your showroom is that 22-inch screen. It's that 6.1-inch iPhone screen you got, right? That's where the showroom is, right? And so success, understand it does not have to be contained inside that screen, right? Because it could be all over the United States of America. It could be all over the daggum world. Anyone who speaks a language that is sales that customers can understand. We literally dealing with like the Tower of Babel around here. You understand what I'm saying? So as long as folks can understand one another, right, you can build something great. So I know some of the biblical folks, y'all may not if you're not biblical, you might not understand what I'm talking about. So way back in the day, there was one language, right? Before someone decided to, hey, you know what, we're gonna take over the heavens and build this tower, and we're gonna go to God and we're gonna take over and all that kind of stuff. And so God said, no, you're not, right? And so he changed it and made it so that folks didn't speak the same language, right? But had that not happened, he was just like, look what man can do, right? When man puts his mind to something, look what he could accomplish, right? It would be absolutely amazing. And so again, that's the situation that we are. If you put your mind to something, again, sales, listen, they talking about building a whole tower to the heavens, right? I'm sure we can make a couple little car sales. I'm sure we can set a couple little appointments. And so I think the point that I want you to really get from this is that sales is not a one size fits all type of thing. It's actually the more creative you can get, the more sales you can do, right? There's Seth Godin talks about the purple cow, right? And that's, hey, how do I stand out, right? And so that's one way of looking at it, but how can I do something different? How can I do something that maybe has never been done before, right? I know there's nothing new under the sun, but it's never been done before in this arena, right? It's been done in other arenas, right? Some of the thought processes that we have, some of the visions in our minds and how we want the automotive, the direction we want it to go, man, I'm telling you, I'll blow your mind if I shared it with you, but I'm not going to do that today. But I do want you to understand that when it comes to sales, it can be as big as you dream it to be.
This episode is brought to you by Podium. Here's a question. How much would your business change if you had one more employee who worked 24/7 to turn every lead, including the ones that come in after hours, into test drives, sales, and more money for your dealership? Meet Jerry. Podium's new AI BDC. Jerry is a lead conversion powerhouse designed to respond instantly to every incoming lead to answer questions accurately, keep leads warm, and schedule test drives all without direct human supervision. And the best part? With a seamless handoff to staff on the sales floor, customers will never know they were interacting with an AI to begin with. See how Podium's AI BDC can help you sell more cars by visiting podium.com/MCS. That's podium.com/MCS, or click on the link in the show notes below. Introducing Dealer Synergy's brand new 55,000 square foot outsourced BDC. Over 2,000 highly skilled agents are not just making and taking calls, they're transforming customer engagements. Our agents are specially trained by Dealer Synergy, a name trusted in automotive sales training for over 20 years. With access to decades of proven methods, they're equipped with the skills and confidence to handle every customer interaction. Combining Dealer Synergy's advanced training with the cost efficiency of a Belize-based team, our BDC helps you grow your business and maximize every opportunity. The native language in Belize is English, so no customer will be affected by agitating language barriers. Through Dealer Synergy's industry-leading training, these agents are primed to deliver results that boost your dealership's bottom line. Our goal: keep your showroom full, your customers engaged, and your reputation shining. Dealer Synergy's BDC is your partner in elevating customer satisfaction and bringing in a steady stream of ready-to-buy visitors. Contact Dealer Synergy to get more information to sign up today.
All right, so one of the questions that people have is, how can salespeople learn to sell from pretty much anywhere in the world? Well, I don't know if y'all have been around since the pandemic. Yeah, actually pre-pandemic, right? But since the pandemic, everybody's been using this thing called Zoom, right? And so it doesn't have to be Zoom, but I'll tell you that Zoom is one of the best platforms for this, because as a salesperson, let's say you wanted to sell a car to someone and they weren't physically able to come into the dealership. Well, it doesn't matter, because they can still have a dealership experience right from home, right? And so how does something like that happen? Well, Zoom has a feature called breakout rooms. I don't know if other platforms have that feature. It may, but I know Zoom has breakout rooms. And so if I were a sales manager, as a matter of fact, I would have each of my salespeople have their very own breakout room. I would have a finance manager have a breakout room. I would have the test drive folks have a breakout room. And so what would happen is, I would have prospects come into the regular showroom, the regular Zoom room. I'd have some music playing, right? I'd be talking to them and kind of hyping things up and all that. And then when my salesperson was ready for them, I would send them into the breakout room, aka office, right? They go into the office with the salesperson. They'd have the conversation. They'd have that qualifying question conversation, right? And then when it was time for vehicle selection, we could share our screens, right? And we can kind of show some different things. I'd show some 3Ds. I'd show some, some good old camera footage of just different vehicles and things like that. Then when it was time for a test drive, man, I'd send it. So I'd put them in a breakout room of somebody who's actually outside. So I was thinking at one point, Miss Tiana Mick, T Got Your Keys, we did a webinar, and I can't quite remember exactly what the webinar was for. Maybe it was for a manufacturer. Maybe it was just for one of our regular Dealer Synergy Academy classes. But we had her outside teaching the walk around, right? I was sitting here in the office and she was outside. She was teaching the walk around. And it was phenomenal, man. We had hundreds of people on. They were like, "Wait, that was so cool how she's outside. She's got a little microphone on her. And we're showing her like do a literal walk around of the vehicle. And so we're teaching her how to do a proper walk around. So that's what I would do. I would have someone doing a walk around of the vehicle. And if a salesperson, if you didn't have staff like that, you could go outside and, you could do that walk around yourself. But then after the fact, I would take that person on a test drive. I would literally like have them in the car and I would test drive the vehicle. And you could set it up through dash cams or whatever it is, whatever equipment you have, right? Make a person feel like they're actually in the vehicle, right? I mean, again, there's so many different setups. If you get creative, the more creative, the better. So I'd have the person on the test drive. I'd bring the vehicle back. I'd run the whole line about the sold line and all that, because I would just have a good time with it and just having the customer experience what I'm experiencing. Then I would send them into the service department, right? I'd show them the service department. I'd show virtually, right? And goodness gracious, with tools like Apple's what they call that thing, that Apple Vision Pro thing. I mean, there's so many different options, and just there's materials out there for us to maximize our skills. Okay, so you can sell from anywhere in the world using what I'm talking about. Then I bring them back to my desk. We'd have the conversation, right? First pencil commitment, because I don't get stuck. Y'all know how I go, right? So I'd have that going on. Then when it was time, I would move them into the breakout room / office of a finance manager, and they'd have that finance conversation, right? I'd bring them back to the office and have them do the referrals, right? And then pretty much whatever, set up the delivery of the vehicle. Now, back when we had challenges, we couldn't be in the same place and things like that, they would put paperwork on the backseat of a vehicle, and they would drive the vehicle to the place. That person would get out, somebody would get in, they would get in, they get the paperwork, they fill out the paperwork, they get back out, right? So that's when we had to do all that social distancing stuff, right? And so now it's no longer the case. We don't have to do social distancing, but we do have to adapt and use the new ways of selling that we learned during the pandemic, right? I remember I've been talking about using Zoom since like 2017, right? So we were using Zooms to do, because back before that it was like GoToWebinar and conference calls, right? But now, because of technology, right? I think the pandemic really just put the technology, quote unquote, on the map, right? Because everybody's paying attention to it now, or most people are, but we're just not realizing all the tools. We're not realizing all of the uses for the tools that are out there. So I hope that I did a good job of explaining it. Maybe at some point in time, I can actually show you a video. We can actually, do it and have a person experience it. But it's really as simple as, if you understand how to operate breakout rooms and how to move people around from breakout room to breakout room, that you could literally hire a receptionist, and that's what they do all day. Just move people from one room to another. Okay, I got to put you in room 7. I got to put you in room 5. I got to put you in room 2, right? And then, of course, these rooms would be labeled, so it's not just a room number. It would be like an actual office with a title on the door. So that's what I would recommend. That's just one way to sell from anywhere in the world. You don't have to be at your dealership. You can still coordinate the sale with staff back at the dealership. If you're away from your desk, if you're no longer there, you could be anywhere in the country, and your customer, same situation, could be anywhere. It doesn't matter. Geography is no longer a challenge, and that's what is the purpose of this conversation to share. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, that is the ever expanding world of business development. It's no longer a center. It's like the business development from anywhere. And so I think that if we pay attention and we just realize that geography doesn't have to be a challenge anymore, we can sell from anywhere in the world, right? We can employ folks from anywhere in the world. It takes the chains off, man. We get to break every daggum train. I ain't trying to go down the whole, Tasha Cobb Road and all that good stuff, but goodness gracious, man, there is power when we decide that I am no longer going to be bound, right, by the old thinking. I'm going to do something new. I'm going to do something special. And that's what it takes to be a millionaire car salesman. So listen, I always say you are the average of the 5 people who you spend the most time with. You've just been spending time with L.A. Williams, Miss Jenna Blankenbiller, and probably a couple other folks. I don't know who else was featured on today's episode. But man, listen, it's your turn. Go out there and be a millionaire car salesman. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.
Thank you so much for watching this week's episode. If you liked it, you're gonna love Bradley On Demand. Bradley On Demand is the most advanced virtual training, tracking, testing, and certification platform. What does that mean? It's an online university. And if you like this information here, we have hundreds and hundreds of advanced videos, step by step, on how to help you sell more cars more often and more profitably, so sign up now.